Hi, my name is Eli Hedrick, and today I'll be talking to you about NSA phone surveillance. Phone surveillance essentially is the tracking of people on their phones, what they're doing, and where they're doing it. Most people in the U.S. are aware that this surveillance is happening, but what most aren't aware of is the heavy extent to what it is happening at. To get to where I am at today, I looked at stimulus material. It was a picture of artwork by Banksy. This artwork depicted at the top corner here is from Cheltenham, England, and it depicts a few shadowy figures that are looking in on a conversation, spying on it, kind of recording it, and it is to what looks like government officials. And this led me to think of the devices that we have today, which are much more advanced, and the technology that we have today that is more advanced, and the possibilities of spying and tracking that we have with this. And this led me to the question, to what extent does the NSA surveillance impact the privacy of phone users? And this also impacted me because I have a phone. I'm a part of the cell phone user community, and it led me to want to conduct more research on this topic. I think this topic needs to be gone more in depth and more research done on it. For 90% of the people in the U.S. are phone users. That's 277 million people at a risk of having their privacy breached. This privacy breach that is occurring because of the NSA occurs for multiple reasons. There are three main reasons that result in this. That is bulk data surveillance, location surveillance, and a break in the Fourth Amendment liberties. So for bulk data surveillance, this is the accumulative mass surveillance of in-depth information. This is an in-depth search that people do. The domestic surveillance dictator explains this, how they collect this data. It is the collection of messages, what's sent, what's in a message, who it's sent to. Same thing with phone calls, how long the phone call is taking. This is all done through data intercept stations, which is seen down here in the diagram. This is the red portion. They go next to these cellular companies and intercept the data that's going through them. The second reason is location services. This is kind of self-explanatory. It is finding the location of phones and where people are using them wherever. Rucker Law Specialist supports this, saying that the phones transmit this or broadcast this signal wherever they are, and GPS globe positioning systems then locate where this phone is through the signals it gives out. The third reason is Fourth Amendment issues. So the Fourth Amendment ensures that a U.S. citizen, quote, has the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable suspicions. Jonathan Havertz, he studies net security at Seton Law. He explains how communication through and the Fourth Amendment requires the government to have reasonable suspicion to go in the depth that they do right now in order to gain information. And with the majority of the people that use cell phones, it is not very feasible that 277 million people, or the majority, a high percentage of that 277 million, which they're surveying, has some sort of reasonable suspicion. So when all these things accumulate, you have to look at what's going to aid this situation without breaking too many liberty or laws. So when I came to look at this, I found a solution, or like a recommendation for a solution of less in-depth surveillance, make a more broad surveillance of all the people that have cell phones, so it's not breaking too much privacy issues. But then once this broad survey is done of phones, then cracking down on people that have had some sort of reasonable suspicion, going in more into depth of their text, phone calls, etc.